Hey everyone, it's Amador, and like I said in the previous video where I was showing you what I had made for my sister's baby shower, the oddly enough Spider-Man themed baby shower. Who does that? My spoiled family, that too. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the tutorial on how I made my favorite part of this. Bam! This Spider-Man marquee light, using some few simple products that I'm sure everybody is able to find in their local scrapbook stores or craft stores, excuse me, to be able to make this. I absolutely, like, seriously, this thing is my favorite thing that I made, and I absolutely love it. So let's get started. I'm not going to jibber jabber too much because the video is like, the tutorial is going to be in parts and bits and pieces, but it'll show you everything step by step on how I did it. All right, so hope you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully my tutorials aren't dumb or just really boring, and you guys are at least entertained halfway through the whole thing. All right, so let's get started. So here's what we're going to do. Here's how I figured out how to do this. So I'm going to use one of these large hat boxes. This is the largest one that they have at Hobby Lobby, which is the same size, if I'm not mistaken, as the ones they have like at Michael's and Joann's. I used a Heidi Swap Marquee Love Kit, and this is just the regular 24, is it 24 lights? Yeah, 24 lights. And then I also got, this is the Christmas one, the red bulb caps for that she has for Christmas. So these are the two. Oh, luckily when they had them on sale a while back, and I got a bunch of these for half off, but use the coupon. And so what I did, sorry for all the ruckus, is I took the lid from the top of the box and then I put it on the bottom. So basically you have the same width, because you will have, hold on, I want to make sure I have it right. You will have to have space, same depth, it's going to be the same depth. You're going to have space for the wiring for the lights. Okay, so what I did was, now you can cut towards you or away from you. It's smart to cut away from you, okay, because you end up hurting yourself, like I have done in the past. So I tried different ways. Honestly, the easiest is to kind of use a sawing technique. This will take a minute to do, but if you take your time and do it right, you will have a nice smooth edge, just like the lid, because we're not using the lid for the front part. This is going to be the front part of your light. So you can go all the way that way. Now what I did is, I then, when I already had some done, I cut it, and you can see it already comes forward. To kind of make it go faster, you can go cut out sections, just cut them that way, and as you go. I discarded this because it's curved, there's not much you can do with it. And seeing you have a nice smooth edge, and you can always sand it down a little bit if you please. So you see where these edges are a little bit rough? That's where I went ahead and then with my scissors, I just went through it with these scissors, and these scissors are nice and thick, and they have that, I forgot what that's called, serrated edge, so you can actually cut through this much easier. Once it's painted all black, it'll look much more uniform on with the other piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this and come right back. Okay, so I doubt you wanted to sit there and watch me just cut this stupid thing. But as you can see, look, they inset right into each other, but you're not going to have that luxury once you put in the lights and everything on the back, and it'll be basically about this size sticking out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually, it took me a while to figure out the measurements. Now these are the things that I did for the largest hat box. This, you know, it'll be different as far as the spacing for the for smaller hat boxes, and your lights will be much closer. But this one gave me a nice gap between them. So the one that goes inside, from the one that you cut out from the actual box, this is the one you're going to be drilling into. The other one you're just going to set aside. Now I'm using Nathan's drill, and and I'm using, the bit is 5/16. So I played with all of them, and you can use the 19/64, and that one you have to like push it in, and sometime, and I ended up tearing one of them. But the 5/16 inch, it still has a little bit of tightness where you can push the little bulbs through the hat box and everything. So that's the one I prefer, and I also put hot glue on the back just in case. You never know, you know. So you're gonna drill into the back of this. But what I did is I just took this box, this flat rate box, and I put this on here so I can drill into it as opposed to drilling right into my table, because you only have about 1.25 inches of paper on this. So what I did at this point is I knew that I was going to have them about 1 inch from the outside. And what I did was I measured them, and I did all of my measurements. I did the circumference, I divided it, I did it 50 times, and then I just realized that the best separation for these would be about a little under 2 inches, and it would still spread them well enough around here, around the base, for me to have a good division. Now, I had several different ideas on figuring out, let me get this paper, once again I'm prepared, how big I wanted it. So what I, to keep the, the things in line. So basically all I did was I just grabbed a circle. Now you can cut a circle with your circle cutter, with your doily cutter, or whatever. This isn't going to be perfect. Okay, so once you have your circle cut out, or whatever you want to use as a guide, you can use a Tupperware top or something like that, just to kind of keep your area more more in focus for where you want. Like, and you can have, and here's the 1 inch from the line. So basically all I did was I sat here and I divided it, and then I folded it, and I did blah, blah, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to measure and see which one worked out. So we're going to do, I think I tried like several of them, so we're going to do 1 7/8. It's kind of like where I was, where I figured it out. And if you're off by like a hair, it's okay. It's alrighty. So you're just gonna do that, and what I did was, after I went and finished these markings, I went ahead and measured 1 inch away from the wall of the, oh my goodness, sorry, of the, I'm just afraid to mess up while I'm doing a tutorial, of the box. So that way you have, no, and it's not 1 7/8. Oh my gosh, you're such an idiot. 1, 2, 3. 1 3/8. Ugh, this is why they shouldn't let me around math. So it's 1 3/8, and as you can see, I started here, so some of them are going to be a little off, so we're just going to move this one a little bit that way. So now let's see how many we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So there we are with the 24 markings. They're going to be, one's going to be like a hair off here and there. And sorry for the boo-boo. It's actually 1 3/8. 1 3/8. I'll make sure to put in the video in here when it's 1 3/8. So at that point, now you can go ahead and check your 1 inch marks, and you can make them, like what I did was I made them X's to, oh wait, that's not one, to make sure I knew that these were already set, and you can go on to the drilling now. So yeah, so let me just finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and checked my lines 1 inch away from the actual wall. As you can see, some of them weren't 1 inch away, so I'm gonna go off by the X, but this marked where the separation was. So now this part's gonna get noisy, and I'm gonna do only a few of them and then proceed to the rest of my my tutorial. And everything's going to be encompassed in here, the wiring and everything like that. And the only other cutting you're going to do is the back of this, because it's going to go right here like that, in for the little power pack. Okay, so like I said, we're going to use, what size bit did I say again? 5/16. And I'm using this box so I don't drill right into it, into my desk. There is nothing in it, just hopes and dreams. So you just go above, hold it, and you see it makes a really good hole. You have to just hold it and start, you do not need a lot of pressure. You don't need a lot of pressure for this period. So let me go ahead and finish this part, okay? Okay, so once you're done with the drilling, you will have all of the shavings, which I just threw into the trash. Now, as you can see, you get kind of a clean cut, and I know that I've seen people, and I should have done it, put masking tape on something, so when you drill into it, it keeps it from getting messy, but I figured, whatever. And it's going to be covered by the bulb anyway. It's going to be painted and covered by the bulb. See, you don't see nothing, but you see how it still has a nice tight grip on it, but you can still push it through. So yes, you can still push it through, but what you're going to do is going to bring it around the other side to push it through. Because I'm not paying attention. So yeah, so you see how it is right there. It gives you enough space and it'll have the light reflecting. So all you do is, obviously not do it on this side. What you do is, flip it around. Now, if you're having trouble with it, you can always stick a brush, a paintbrush through it, and that way it'll push the pieces of the chipboard that came out this way, that way. Reason being, now the reason we did it this way, because it's much easier to measure this, and we can always go back and just push them in. And the cool thing is, you see how there's a little force because of those little pieces, and it'll hold it even tighter. So, but like I said, if you're having trouble with it, just push a brush through it. This is what I did, and you will get an even. The cool thing is, you will get an even tighter fit. Just don't put the whole brush through it. By seeing this, you can go ahead and cut your back for the power pack. Now, what I did is basically I just went like this. You wanted to give it a little space. I should have actually went a little farther up. That's what I meant to do in the first place. Where did my, okay. And then I just cut out a rectangle, a little rectangle, the width of the ruler that I was using. And you want to cut everything before you paint anything, and that way it all looks uniform. And you want to clean up some edges or anything like that. So here we go. Okay, so this is going to sit back here where the lights are, and you're going to have the little light thing sticking out here. So you're able to get it. If anything, you might want to give yourself, yeah, well, you know what, just for kicks, we're going to give ourselves a little bit more space. And like I think I might have mentioned, this is going to be the back. No one's going to see this. Unless you're giving it to somebody. But it is a little bit of handmade goodness. So it's going to go in the back, and no one's going to notice that. Okay. And that's just for you to be able to get the little battery pack in and out, because we're going to use Velcro to hold it in. So now let's go ahead, and I'm going to wipe down this workstation. because I'm going to get some paper down so I can paint the boxes now. Okay, so now that we have our little sections cut out and our holes in there correctly, I'm going to go ahead and start painting this. And what I use is just some regular foam brushes, and I like folk art paint. This is just pure black. I'm going to start with, and of course I covered my workstation with some scratch paper. I don't have those large sheets of paper that I usually have when I buy something from Hobby Lobby, so we're going to use this. Now, you don't have to do the center because that's going to be covered with the cutout. But you do want to make sure you get the edges. You want to make sure you get all up in there. Use it. I just use it very liberally because I don't want to skimp on the paint, because you want it to be nice and pitch black. And acrylic paint does dry pretty easily, so pretty quickly, so you can move on to your next parts easily. But I'll do the inside, and then I'll go do the outside, the other part of the other one, to kind of give each section time to dry, and that way you have, see, and it goes by pretty quickly, because goodness sakes, it's just black paint. But don't be cheap, because you really want it to be black. If anything, you really want it to be nice and pitch black for when you have your light on, because if not, it'll seriously show the craft color of it. Now this is the back part of your light. This one you are going to cover it very well. And like I said, the paint isn't too expensive. I got them on sale. You want to make sure, because you want to make sure you really do get good coverage. And even though, so there's thick parts right there, I'm going to move it around to where I need it. I'm going to make sure you get in here. You're going to move it around to where I need it. Make sure you get your edges very well. Can also, I do use my heat tool on occasions to kind of help the drying process go. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Here's the reason being, because I can't set it down with that part. Okay, so now on the back of this one, you are going to be doing the rim of it, and just one of the areas here. Reason being is because most of this is going to be covered up. So we're just going to very comfortably put on the paint, and you're going to bring it a little bit over to the side here. This will all be covered up by the bottom of the other piece, but you also don't want to have too much. And you're going to do one section where you're going to cover it all the way here like this, and that's because this is where this opening is going to be, and you don't want that to have, you want it to look uniform, so you don't want it to have any of that craft color sticking out. Okay, so, and now that the items, the parts that have to be painted are painted, we're going to go ahead and assemble this puppy. So this is going to be the back part, this is going to be the front part, and they're going to go through like this, and they're going to end up like that. So, and this is going to be covered with the Spider-Man image. So now what we're going to do is you're going to take, and we can put them, I think I just lost one. Okay. We're going to take the bulbs, and you're going to put them through. We have to put them through the actual front part first, and then we put the lights through that. So in retrospect, I did make the whole situation much harder for me, for myself. I should have put the Spider-Man's image in here first. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do that now before I continue with the rest. So now what I'm going to do is cut out the shapes that I'm going to need for my light. I found an image online that was perfectly circular that I wanted to use. So this is what I did. These are the layers that I have. I have the regular layer, and I colored some of them. The regular layer, this is actually, this layer is the same size as this one. It's meant to go right on top of each other, the black layer. Now, the red layer is a bit smaller. It's about maybe like 1/4 of an inch smaller, so it fits behind it. So essentially, what we're doing is layering these on top, and the face of the actual face is going to be black. That part's going to be black, and it's going to sandwich this red part inside. Okay, so I don't have the program that records you while you're working on your computer, so because I'm not that tech savvy. So let's say this is the image that we're working with for us to get the various pieces that we have over here. This is somewhat of the image that I used. I can't find the other one. So what we do is we go to open the trace window, and you select the trace option, you trace it, and then you release the high pass filter. This will basically cover everything what you want to do. See, if you wanted just a solid area, you would go that way. But we're gonna go this way. If you can see right here, we're gonna go this way to make sure that you get the lines that you want right there. Okay, so now you're just going to do select trace. Select it. Okay, we're gonna move this out, and look, now you have the lines that you are going to be using. Now if you bring this over here to your cutting area, you will then see that's what it's going to cut. As it highlights the area, that's what it's going to cut. Like I said, everything I learned from Quick Flicks here on YouTube. So I'm going to duplicate it, and here's the reason why. This is so much easier. Obviously you saw the other stuff that I made a mistake on. I'm going to duplicate it, and now the duplicate, move this out of the way. We're going to select and do what I originally said, release compound path. And then this releases the eyes, and now you have the eyes separate. We're going to delete all of that. So that is how I got that, and hence how we have the eyes separate, the background, the center part, and all this one is just a smaller, I just duplicated the actual background, and then I just reduced it by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and now cut these items. Hopefully all of that made sense, because I know sometimes I do not. So let me just go ahead and cut these. So now I have my pieces all cut up. I have they're all layered here. The background, and like I said, the background, and then this is, actually this was 1/2 inch smaller, I apologize. But you want to, what I meant is that you want 1/4 inch around, so that way you can use this to cover it just right. And here are the eyes. There was no point in me just showing you guys my cameo cutting these things. But that is what you're going for, essentially. So I actually, let me see here. I will flip this over, and I like to use my Scotch Quick Dry. You know what? I should have kept some paper up here. Some scratch paper, because I don't want glue to get on my surface. Okay, make sure I'm in frame. Alright, so all I do is just go around. For these smaller pieces, of course, we're going to use the Scotch Quick Dry. And for the bigger pieces, we're going to use the AEG gun. Okay. Now, it has these little ones right here. I really don't worry about that, but I do want to make sure I get some on these, because they would just be hanging in the wind. And then I go around the inner border of the face, because that is where it's going to be covered up with the red. And this is on the back, so then I just center it. And even if you're a little bit off to the side, you're good, because it's a nice thick border. Then I like to go around the front, make sure I don't have any like caked glue everywhere. You want to press it down softly and gently. All right, so just want to make sure that it takes hold. Now, since the other pieces are much larger and solid pieces, I can go ahead and use my ATG. All right. Pay no mind to everything falling apart over there. I want to make sure I have the right ones on the right side because I don't think I do. Yeah. Okay. And remember, you have to flip it over or else it's going to look a little wonky. And that was my horrible British accent. Pretty sure they won't ever let me into Britain because of that. Okay, so... And the cool thing is, since the cuts were duplicates of each other, they will sit right in the negative space. And you want to think of, like, when you're doing these items, like how many layers you're going to have, because I don't want 100 layers. Like, these were more than enough. Okay. So, and now with this, we're going to sandwich this to the back of that. And it's probably just easier for me to do it on this one. I try to get up to right on the border. You can always add more. Okay. Of course, you want some in the center. You might find this to be a waste, but you don't want it to droop out in the middle of your Spider-Man face. So there you go. You can flip this over. It doesn't matter what side what you do, and this will meet perfectly because this is the same size. And make sure that'll be your guide because it's the same size. And there you go. Well, essentially, you have a decoration piece already set. But what you want is now, and I should have put this in here before I put in the lights, because you're going to be pressing it, but you can press it with your hand from the other side. So we're going to, again, apply adhesive. Now, the important reason that I use the Marquee lights, there are other lights that are LED as well. You want to make sure that you use LED because this is paper. The base is chipboard, basically. Okay. So, and on this side, if you find a spot that you like better, hanging down, up, whatever, you could do that. Doesn't really matter, but what it will matter is on the back when you have that section. So we're just going to go ahead and drop it in, lightly touch it because you do have the those light bulbs already in there. You could take them out really, but I'm being too lazy. So I'm pressing it with my hand on both sides to make sure that I have that adhered. Oh! And there you go. Okay, so now that you have that in there, I'm going to go ahead and put in the lights. Now the lights do require where is this? Okay, require 2 AAA batteries. Check that out. It is good to go. Now, at this part, you are going to pay attention where you want the lights because you want this to be the battery pack at the base of your light, which is going to be essentially where the mouth is. So you kind of just see where it is, place it underneath, flip it over, and there you go. Because that is where the other part, the base, is going to go. Now, we're going to go ahead and push the lights through and make sure you hold the light bulb from the other side as you push the light through and just push it in all the way. And if you push it in all the way, it gets really good pressure in there and it keeps it in there. Not even in frame. Sorry for my hairy arm there. All right. And you will just go around the whole thing. Now, I am going to go ahead and do all of them. As you can see, this is why you're going to have the other part of the hat box, the lid, because these lights don't go in all the way. There's a little bit of space that holds in the little light bulb, hence why you needed to have at least an inch gap for them behind each other. And you will just push this as far as it'll go when you have the backing on it. So are you guys ready for the reveal? Ta-da! Look at that. Super awesome. I absolutely love it. I think that my light bulbs came in at a beautiful spacing. So, and yeah, I mean, that is what you're looking for. Now, I chose the red light bulbs because I felt that it gave it a little bit of a different accent as opposed to just the clear bulbs from the Marquee Love stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. And essentially what we're looking at is it's going to go here. The backing is going to go here. Okay, if you guys saw what I just did, this was supposed to be my backing part, and this was supposed to be where it covers. See, so you wouldn't see like all the chipboard stuff. But it is what it is. I totally boo-booed it up. So you do have to pay attention where you put the face. Make sure it aligns with the bottom of that. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not going to be a problem. Well, that's if I could find my paint. And I will just go ahead. See, I'm telling you, boo-boos like this happen to me all of the time. But it's because I'm figuring out like what I'm doing to begin with. Okay. Because I am not ashamed of my boo-boos, we're going to go ahead and just fix this little thing up. On the positive note, I'm just going to go around with a little bit of paint. And then we're going to go ahead and dry this so we can, because you want it to be dry. You don't have to really, but I did, at least on the other ones. I did put hot glue on the base of these so I can, okay, let's give it a test run. Okay, see, look, it's all covered, all done. Let me go ahead and dry this up with my heat tool, and I will be right back. Now, since I'm a little neurotic and I'm afraid that the light bulbs will fall out, I'm going to just go ahead and, my hot glue gun isn't hot enough yet. Go ahead and just apply a little bit of glue to the base of the bulb, and just for it to go ahead and settle down on the bulb and on the chipboard. Okay, so now I have put glue on the base of these lights. It's working, it's functioning, and I was about to put it on put the back on, and then I realized that I did not add a hole for you to hang it with. So, once again, do as I say, not as I do. So there's a few quick fixes that you can do in this situation. If I can find my tool, you can either bust out the, sorry, I had to sneeze. You can either bust out the drill one more time, or you can just take a paper piercer, figure out where you want it, and you want to do it above from the top of this. Get your paper piercer, your piercing tool, just about anything you want to do, and I'm telling you, I'm finding the easiest, laziest way, and then you just push another item through the hole. We'll do a pencil. And, ladies and gentlemen, high technology, you have your hole to hang it with. This is seriously like a half-arsed DIY situation here. Okay, so there you go. You have the hole to hang it with. We use Gorilla hangers. They come in a pack like this, and I think they're called Gorilla hooks. I can't remember, but they look like this. So essentially, this goes into the wall. You can't, make sure you don't do it on, like, if you can't find the 2x4s or whatever. This goes into the wall. Here, I'll show you on this piece of paper. Let's say this is the wall. It goes into the wall, comes back around like this. So this is the wall, and all you have is this little hook hanging out, and it suspends itself from the back of the wall like that. So you just have this, and then when you're done, you just pull it out, and you have a small hole on there, so you don't have to look for 2x4s and stuff like that. So anyway, I digress. So this is done. We're gonna go ahead and angle it up so you can see where that is, and go ahead and, you know what, or you could do it the other way around. Who am I kidding? We're gonna do it this way. Okay. You look for where the battery pack's going to be, and you press it down, and you see how it went from being completely aligned inside to it having about a 1/4 of an inch lip, because that is what holds all that hot mess inside. See? And then you have your little battery pack back here. What we're going to do is we're going to get some Velcro because you want it to stay put. You want it to stay put and you want it to be able to get it out to replace your batteries, okay? So let me go ahead. Okay, so I don't have the strip Velcro. I just have these dots, these dot ones, because I cut them in half when you use them on little packages and stuff, so that we don't have to worry about the big bulk of them. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that you put, let me see, make sure you check which side the battery comes out. It's just easier that way. And the little button at the bottom, going to go ahead and adhere it one down, take off the backing on one of the, hold on, let me see. Okay, take off the backing, one of them, place it down. Now you're going to remove the backing from both of them, provided they're sticking together as they're supposed to. And these backings are pretty sticky, so you might have a little bit of a situation. Okay, so that is, let me see, I'm gonna set it down there just for a second. Okay, we're going to bring it down and to the left. You want to have the space available for you just, okay, and obviously I did it crooked. You know what? Let's do this one more time. Okay, so once again, you can see the manometer is full of messing up. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and replace those little dots. Forget the fact that that's messed up a little bit. Okay. So we're going to put it through the hole. So I think this is how I did it. We're going to make sure that your that the hole on the top aligns with the forehead with this line. So okay. Okay. So it aligns, like I said, the hole that you're gonna hang it with aligns with that middle line from the top of the head. Okay. So we have it sticking at the back. I should have done this from the beginning, but you can see, like I said, I make mistakes. It's okay. I learned so much along the way with this. So you're going to put it in there because you want to make sure that you have the space to flip it on by just sticking your finger, and then you can, well, let's flip it on. And then you can easily, and you just hold it on both sides so you could press it down for the adhesive, and then you can easily pull it up. See? And there you go. And you can easily pull it in and out. Okay, you could easily pull it in and out out of the base, but you have the access to turn it on and off. So, oh, let's turn it on then. Come on, buddy. So essentially, there it is, you guys. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing because I confuse myself sometimes. I had fun figuring this out. It was tumultuous at some points because whenever you're doing something new, you totally don't know what's going on, especially when you don't have a tutorial. And when I did this, I was like, you know what? It's too much of a pain in the butt. I'm not going to do a tutorial. But I thought it'd be really cool. I'm pretty sure somebody in your family, friends, would appreciate this light. And see, look, once I finish messing with it, you can even paint this a different color if you feel that you have some edges that weren't working out. You can fix those. But essentially, you are good to go. Now, this point, these are stuck on there very well, the lid and the actual bottom. But I went ahead and on mine, I went ahead and pushed it forward a little bit, made a little bit of a hole. You can put any kind of adhesive. You can put any kind of adhesive that you want. There's, you could do E6000. I gotta clean that mess up. E6000. You can use, 3, 2, 1. I hear even Fabri-Tac will adhere paper and stuff. So I just did it in a few sections for it to hold, because like I said, essentially there's, I mean, this thing is squeezed in there with the paint and everything. You are pretty much assured, but I just want to kind of give it a little make sure situation. You don't have to do it around the whole thing. I mean, and you'll see how hard it is to try to open it, but luckily I have a very fine tipped glue gun for me to use. And FYI, I do use the Surebonder glue gun. I know that these are banned in California because of the cancer causing properties, but in California, I mean, let's be honest, air causes you cancer. And it's actually if you chew the cord. So apparently they think that you people in California, hey Carol, can't be kept from chewing cords and you're gonna get cancer. So, but I really like this one. It works really well. It's survived more than the other glue guns that I've had. So there is my light, you guys. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm so glad I figured it out because like I said, I made these for my sister's baby shower. But there you go. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys give it a try. Maybe there's a Spider-Man. Oop, maybe there's someone that loves Spider-Man in your family or your friends, and they will appreciate this homemade, this handmade. Or what is it? What do they call it now? They don't call it DIY, like do it yourself. There, make it yourself. This MIY Spider-Man Marquee light. Okay, thanks for stopping by, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.